Hi, little learners. Welcome back to another enchanting episode of Learn with TD. Today we have a very special story for you, one of the most beloved fairy tales of all time, the story of Cinderella. Let's begin. In a quaint little town, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Cinderella. This is her playing the piano, finding a moment of happiness amidst her busy day. But wait, who's that stern face peering around the corner? It's Cinderella's stepmother, and oh my, she doesn't look pleased. And who do we have here? These are Cinderella's stepsisters, and they're not very nice at all, always looking for ways to make Cinderella's life harder. Ever since her father passed away, her stepmother made her do all the household chores, while her stepsisters spent their days in leisure. Cinderella's day began before the sun had even risen. Her mornings began in the kitchen, where she prepared all the meals for her stepmother and stepsisters. They would often complain and make unreasonable demands, never once thanking her for her efforts. Every day, from dawn till dusk, Cinderella worked tirelessly. She cooked, cleaned, and did all the tasks her stepmother and stepsisters demanded. Yet she never complained. Despite the harsh treatment, Cinderella remained kind-hearted and always dreamed of a better life.
In the shadows of my dreams I find a spark, a hope that guides me through the endless dark. Though tears may fall, my heart remains a whisper of freedom in these chains. A never-ending fight with stepmother's cruel words and sister's spite. Yet I hold on to the vision of a better day, where kindness reigns and love lights the way. For in my heart a strength resides, a flame of courage that never hides. In the shadows of my dreams I find a spark, a hope that guides me through the endless dark. Though tears may fall, my heart remains a whisper of freedom in these chains. One day I'll rise beyond these walls to a world where love and laughter call.
One day, a royal announcement was made. The prince was holding a grand ball at the palace, and every eligible maiden in the kingdom was invited. A collective gasp of excitement spread through the crowd. The stepmother and stepsisters were overjoyed at the thought of attending such a prestigious event. "Oh, what a wonderful opportunity!" exclaimed the stepmother, clapping her hands in delight. They wasted no time in planning their outfits. The stepmother was determined to make her daughters the most dazzling maidens at the ball. In the midst of all the excitement, Cinderella stood quietly, her heart filled with a mix of hope and longing. She dreamed of attending the ball, of dancing in a beautiful gown, and perhaps even catching the prince's eye. "Mother," she began hesitantly, "may I go to the ball too?" The stepmother turned to Cinderella with a cold, dismissive look. "You?" she scoffed. "Go to the ball? Don't be ridiculous, Cinderella. You have nothing to wear, and besides, who will do all the chores while we're gone?" Her stepsisters added, "Yes, Cinderella, someone needs to stay and clean the house." Cinderella's heart sank, but she didn't let her disappointment show. She knew there was no point in arguing. next day, as the sun began to set, the stepmother and stepsisters dressed and prepared to set off in their finest clothes. Cinderella stood watching them leave, her heart filled with a deep sense of sadness and longing. She turned back to the house and took a deep breath. There was no time to waste. She had a mountain of chores to complete. Night fell and the house was finally clean. Exhausted, Cinderella sank into a chair in the backyard, her hands raw from the day's work. Suddenly, a soft, shimmering light filled the garden. Standing before her was a kind and gentle-looking woman, dressed in a cloak of shimmering stars. "Do not be sad, dear Cinderella. I am your fairy godmother. I am here to help you. And tonight, you shall go to the ball." She waved her wand. The pumpkin in the garden began to glow and grow, transforming into a magnificent carriage. Cinderella's eyes widened with delight. Next, the fairy godmother flicked her wand, and in an instant, Cinderella's tattered dress transformed into a stunning gown that shimmered in the night, adorned with delicate embroidery and sparkling gems. Cinderella looked down in amazement, unable to believe her eyes. She waved her wand again, and a pair of delicate glass slippers appeared on Cinderella's feet, glistening in the light. Cinderella marveled at the elegant shoes, feeling like a princess for the first time in her life. "Now you are ready to go to the ball," the fairy godmother said. "But remember, my dear, this magic will only last until midnight. You must return home before that. Go now, my dear, and enjoy the ball. This is your night to shine." Soon, Cinderella's magical carriage arrived at the grand palace, and she stepped out of the carriage. The guests turned to look at her, their eyes widening in admiration and awe. Then she entered the ballroom. The room was filled with the finest noblemen and women, but none could compare to Cinderella's beauty and grace. The prince saw Cinderella. His eyes locked onto her, and he felt an instant connection. He made his way through the crowd, his heart pounding with excitement. "May I have this dance?" the prince asked, bowing deeply before Cinderella. She blushed and nodded. The orchestra began, and the prince took Cinderella's hand, leading her to the center of the dance floor. As they began to dance, it felt as though time stood still.
Spinning in this fairy tale, hearts entwined will never fail, enchanting you with every move in this dance. Our love will prove magic in the air, love everywhere. Together we will soar.
clock began to strike midnight, she remembered Fairy Godmother's warning. She had to leave before the magic wore off. So she simply turned and ran. The prince called after her, but she didn't stop. She dashed down the grand staircase, and just as she reached the bottom step, one of her glass slippers slipped off. She left the slipper behind and continued running. The prince rushed after Cinderella, but she had vanished into the night. He spotted the glittering glass slipper on the step and carefully picked it up. He wondered about the mysterious girl who had captured his heart and disappeared so suddenly. As Cinderella returned home, the magic began to fade. Her gown turned back into rags. The next morning, Cinderella felt a sense of hope and happiness she had never known before. She had experienced a night of magic, kindness, and connection, and she knew that her life would never be the same again. Cinderella went about her chores with a heavy heart. She had little hope that the prince would ever find her. After all, she had no fine clothes or jewels, nothing to make her stand out. She tried to push the memories of the ball from her mind and focus on her work, but it was difficult. The night of magic had changed her, and she couldn't help but dream of a better life. Meanwhile, the palace was abuzz with activity. The prince held the single glass slipper Cinderella had left behind. He declared to the king and queen, "I must find the girl whose foot fits this slipper. She is the one I wish to marry." The king and queen were determined to help the prince find his mysterious dance partner. They issued a royal decree that every maiden in the kingdom was to try on the glass slipper left behind at the ball. The prince himself led the search, riding from village to village with his royal guards. In each home, young women eagerly tried on the slipper, hoping it would fit. But time after time, the prince's face fell as the shoe was too big or too small. The prince's heart sank a little with each failed attempt, but he refused to give up. News of the prince's quest spread quickly, soon reaching Cinderella's village. Her stepmother and stepsisters were overjoyed, certain that one of them would become the prince's bride. At last, the royal procession arrived at Cinderella's house. The glass slipper did not fit the stepsister's feet. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, Cinderella stepped forward. The prince's eyes lit up with recognition. Could it be her? As Cinderella sat down and tried on the slipper, everyone held their breath. To the step-family's amazement and the prince's delight, it fit perfectly. The prince's eyes widened with joy. He looked up at Cinderella, recognizing her now despite her simple attire. "It's you," he whispered, his voice filled with emotion. "You are the one I've been searching for." Tears filled Cinderella's eyes as she nodded, unable to speak. The prince spoke, his voice filled with certainty. "You are my true love, and I want you to be my princess." Cinderella's heart soared as she realized that her dreams were coming true.
Now she paints the skies with gold, her story of love and dreams untold. With every stroke her spirit flies, Cinderella's heart will never die. In every brush, in every beat, her journey's now complete. From ashes she rose, a shining star, a royal heart that's come so far. She's rising higher, chasing the stars, breaking free from all the scars. In the shadows dreams arise, Cinderella's heart will climb the skies. her dreams in sight. Cinderella's found her royal light. With love and art, her life is new, a world of wonder shining through.